Good space time, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Citizen Web3 podcast, a source for educational insights into the Web3 universe, and your connection hub to the people that turn code and dreams into decentralized applications and reality. Today, we are joined by Pavel Paramonov from Dewhales Capital. We talk about the power of persistence, luck, Twitter, and work-life balance in Web3. We discuss early adoption, the influence of NFTs in Web3, user responsibility, and research. Finally, we dive into VCs, their relationships with communities, and VCs as a possible force of good.
It was like 100 applications a day, like numerous times I was rejected. The whole point of the blockchain and the blockchain industry is to be trustless, but you have to trust the big guys. So that's the problem right here. All of the alpha, whatever you want to call it. So it comes from the networking.
But here's an obvious solution here, no? I mean, there's a solution here that says, well, let's not sell to VCs.
It's about discipline. If you really want to learn something, want to achieve something, it's about discipline.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Citizen Web3 podcast. I keep trying to say the old name, Citizen Cosmos. I know. I'm sorry, people. Citizen Web3 now. Today, I have with me Pavel Paramonov. He does research at the Dewhales Capital VC. Pavel, hi. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining, man. We haven't had over the 4 years that many VC. I've had about 2-3 maybe guests so far before you. So we like talking to VCs. VCs have a lot of opinions which make you see things different. Yeah. But before we jump into all the crazy shit, let's do some chit chat. First of all, if you want to introduce yourself, anything you want to tell about yourself, what you do, what you like, whatever.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, as you said, my name is Pavel, and I'm currently working as a research analyst in Dewhales Capital. So focused on the protocol and in the investments research. So basically, before that, eventually how I got into crypto is similar story for most of the people. In 2021, I was basically flipping NFTs on Solana and Ethereum. And I also worked in the traditional IT as a product analyst. So and after the bear market hit, I decided to work commercially in the fund. I have chosen fund because actually there is a lot of capital and there is not that much people, so you can have a great influence of the on the products. So on what you're doing. So you're not like a small detail, like for example in the big company like Binance. So yeah, that's eventually how it came, and now I'm doing the research, the analytics in the crypto, in the blockchain, and all of that fancy words we have now. So yeah, I think that's it. That's about me.
You said there one thing briefly that I'm going to bug you a little bit about. You said, and then I found a job in VC. Now, a lot of listeners probably wonder, how the hell do you just wake up and find a job in VC? So it didn't just happen, right? I mean, were you specifically, maybe a little bit more, if you want, of course, to talk a little bit more.
Yeah, sure. So basically, I had an internship as a product analyst at the company called LA Token, which is not very well, which doesn't have good opinions in the community because of the toxic CEO, unfortunately. So basically, after that, I wanted to find a job in Web3. I didn't care if it would be a fund or it would be some protocol. So I just generally wanted to work in crypto because new industry, yeah. So, and that was a really I think one of the most difficult moments, because I was looking for a job for 6 months. So I went through some 50 or 60 interviews, rejected multiple times, and then eventually I just randomly applied to fund to some fund, which I don't want to call the name, because we had some disagreements in the past.
I understand.
Yeah. So yeah, I got an internship, and then later we were working with. I was working with my colleague, and the colleague went to another fund, and then at the Dewhales, and then he invited me. So that's basically how it all started. It was like 100 applications a day, like numerous times. I was rejected. Uh, I think like one of the most painful moments is when you go through like 3 or 4 stages of the interview, and you're like talking to the co-founders, and they like everything, but then they message you like a day later, like 2 days later, so that sorry, we can't take you, unfortunately. So basically that was 6 months of the grinding of applications, of interviews, and you learn a lot like when you're doing this. So yeah.
So the advice there is persistence, right?
Yeah, of course, because
For anybody who
yeah,
wants.
yeah, sure, because eventually I was lucky, but luck is a word, like if you try more, then you have more luck. So that's basically you're lucky than others if you try more. So yeah.
There's a good saying in Russian, right? Water doesn't flow under a stone that doesn't move,
Yeah,
right? Something like that. It
yeah,
sounds silly in English, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's it, yeah,
I hope the listeners can understand
yeah.
this. So, wait, Pavel. Okay, that's cool. Still, let's do some more chit chat before we start talking. Crypto. Um, but why Web3? I mean, you said I was sitting there flipping NFTs. Why Web3? What drew you to Web3? Why you decided blockchain is something you want to be part of?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty random moment, because in back in like at the beginning of 2021, like everyone was going crazy about NFT. Everybody was talking about it, and it came to the point where like a taxi driver was asking me like about NFTs, like he had some news. And it's really difficult to ignore such topic when everyone is talking about it. So I just decided to see what it feels like. What is NFT about? I didn't know what what blockchain is or what crypto is. So it was basically just about some pictures that are being traded for some like enormous amount of money for some reason. So yeah, and then I liked it. I like the technology of of the blockchain, where you can have where nobody should trust anyone. So it's basically a trustless system. So you just remove a middleman to remove the trust factor. So basically, I like the innovations, and I think that's the Web.3, like blockchain and crypto in particular. It's the most emerging topic in the 21st century, like with the AI perhaps. So, and basically being one of the early guys that can do some influence, have some impact. It's a pleasure that we were born in such a long way. So basically, going in traditional IT, I think it's a little bit boring right now, because you have like, for example, if you want to go in data science, for example, there are like millions of guys doing the data science, millions of guys doing some guides, some millions of companies using some data science technologies, some machine learning and stuff. But eventually, when you enter the new industry like crypto, like blockchain, there are not that much people that care, and there are not that much people that actually understand the stuff we are talking about. And I think the most key factor what divides and separates the Web 2 and Web 3 is people, because most of the Web 3 people, they don't separate work and life. So basically, you don't have work-life balance. Your life is your work, and your work is your life. And basically, it's such an uncommon term for the traditional IT, information technologies, because basically, like, you work 8 hours a day, and then okay, so I'm done working. I'm gonna do some fun stuff. But when you work in crypto, all you do is the fun stuff. So that's it. Yeah.
It's funny. My ex-partner, she a few years ago, when I moved to a new place, someone asked me once, "Oh, so like, how much time do you spend per day on work? And I don't know. Like I looked at him and I was like, I don't know, like 6, 7, 8. And then my previous partner, she looked at me, she started to laugh, and I was like, why are you laughing? She was like, because you do 22 hours a day. And I was like, no, 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 no. But yeah, but I understand. But honestly, by the way, I have to say to you that with time, I think that work-life balance is something we all find. I think that being in crypto for about 10 years now, maybe more, 11, and yeah, and I think it's something that takes time, but I think it does get there. But let's talk about something to do with research. This is something I'm really curious about, and I'm sure all the listeners are curious about. I would love to hear your perspective about, before we go into like specific, like I don't know how you guys approach networks. I want to know that, if of course you fancy talking about it, but I want to talk about your approach to research in general. I think for crypto, it's audience, it's a very important topic. Of course, we all look for those for everything, whether it's technology, whether it's a gem, whether it's, I don't know, community, whether it's something else, and we all look for it, we search for it. What is your approach, not necessarily to research in a token, but to research in general from the big capital letter R? How do you approach any topic when you start to research it?
Well, actually, I think there is the key is in the word analysis itself, because analysis, at the definition, is you basically have something and then you divide it into the parts. So basically, I think that's the key to learn something, to research anything, like anything you want. Is basically you have some difficult topic, and then you try to understand what does it consist of. So basically, for example, there is let's take the blockchain as an example. So okay, you have a blockchain, and you want to understand how it works. So you basically, first of all, you have to find what parts of the blockchain consist of. So basically, it has some blocks. Okay, it has some chains. What are the chains? It has some transactions, some fees, and you start wondering, like, okay, what are blocks? Why are they blocks, not some triangular figures? So why is that? Why is it blocks? How many transactions of the block? What are transactions? What does the fees depend on? You're basically, you have you have one big structure, then you divide it into 10 multiple parts, then you divide these 10 multiple parts into 100 more multiple parts, and you study all of the details, and then eventually you will come up understanding the structure as a whole. So for example, like I remember this moment when I didn't know that much, and I thought the miners of the Bitcoin, they do the money from the air. And it was like I really got excited when I learned that miners actually not only earn the money for mining the block, but actually for validating the transactions. So you actually, the fee that we pay for the transaction is not going to someone's pocket, it's going straight to the network. So that was my realization, one of the most fundamental ones, but that was so I don't know, I remember this moment for some reason. So yeah, I think the key is you first, you have a structure, you divide it into multiple parts, researching each part, then you connect these parts together, and then you eventually understand. You're doing the synthesis. It's about like collecting the parts into one structure. So yeah, so you're basically doing some legal stuff. So yeah.
I understand, basically breaking everything down. This is pretty much, to be honest, what like every researcher I have,
Yeah.
this is more or less their like go to call. What about, okay, let's get more warmer to our like our topic.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have a strange question for you straight off the top. What is your personal, Pavel, go to resources for when you wake up? And I mean, you're a researcher for a VC, everybody wants to know what our VC is doing. And Pavel wakes up, opens his computer. I mean, I don't want to know your passwords, save them, but save all the saucy stuff as well that you do in relation to crypto. I'm joking, man. In relation to crypto, what is the websites you open? What is the first place you go to look for information?
Well, I think it's a little bit simpler for me because I work in a fund with lots of smart guys, and actually those guys just provide the the protocol. So basically, there is no like some magic pill. So I read the same influencers on Twitter that all of you guys do. I read the same news, but basically, when you're working in the organization, you have some guys that that has some connections. So basically, basically the contacts and the all of the alpha, whatever you want to call it. So it comes from the networking. So you basically have to be you have to have a good reputation in the space, and you have to be smart enough, and you have to be you just have to work. Okay, so in order to achieve some meaningful connections, to talk to some smart people. And basically, I think that's one approach. And another one is you're really interested in some topic. For example, it's LSD, for liquid staking derivatives, just for example. And then you want to understand, like you have a huge protocol like Lido Finance, and then you want to understand the other ones. So you actually start looking for other ones. You start looking for new ones, because eventually they just pop up on Twitter. So everything pops up on Twitter. It's just you just have to be smart enough to enter the keywords to find it. So yeah, there is no magic pill. I read the same news that all of the other guys do. But yeah, so
Damn, man! Like straight to disappointment. Come on, you have to say there is a magic pill, but you have to, go for it. No, I'm kidding.
Not.
I understand. To be honest with you, I think I came over many years to the same conclusion that there is no magic pill. It's all about understanding.
Yeah.
For me, computing, understanding of computing helps a lot of understanding how blockchains work. We see the bandwidth, storage, computation, development, and it's following more or less the same cycle as computing did. Development of recent computing did in the 90s and the zeros, and that's how like my kind of thinking builds up. I'm not sure if you see the same similarities.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Man, what about this? Like, there's a lot of questions, to be honest. I can go here, but I'm sorry for asking this, but VCs I'm gonna ask this because this is something. It's a bit off topic,
Yeah.
and we'll go back to research. But this is
want. That's great.
Yeah, LSD. Can we get LSD?
Yeah.
I'm talking about, of course, the other. No. Of course, liquid staking derivatives. No, I'm gonna ask you about VCs, man. So lately, when I say lately, I mean the last cycle, more or less. And when I say the last cycle, I mean, I don't know what part of the cycle we're in. I'm not, to be honest, that care that much. But, the last sort of 1.5 2 years, there's been a lot of big stories that include VCs. There's, of course, Sam, and there was, of course, a couple of more. And it even got to Binance. I mean, Binance is not exactly a VC, but there has been a lot of negative not reputation but news and structure from not all VCs, because some of them have actually not been in the negative light. But why is that? Why are people why is the crypto community, or is it the crypto community, is it the world in general that is negative towards VCs? Is it a bad what's your opinion on this? Do you feel it, by the way, or is it just me maybe?
Yeah, so yeah, that's an interesting question. Thank you for that. So basically, I think the key thing that community don't understand is that VC. So the main concern is VC have access to the early investments deals. So and you basically you can buy like some token or some equity for really low prices. And of course, if you're just a regular retail user, you can't do that. But there is a big reason for that. You don't have enough capital. So it's basically about the money. Of course, if you're like a retail user who want to invest in the early stage protocols, that's fine. But you have to be an angel at least. So you have to you just have to accept that everything you invest is eventually is what you can afford to lose. So basically, as a guy who works in VC, so I don't quite understand that hate and that toxicness that goes, because there can always be and there will always be some negative, some bad investments. And I think the case that I can give you here is like probably the best we see in crypto paradigm. They invested in the in the NFT collection, or NFT like generative art called Gobblers. And after these gobblers, like the price of these gobblers, they went like to zero. They removed all of the mentions that it's a crypto VC fund. So it's basically they were just, oh, we never did crypto, so sorry. So basically everyone has its problems. And so yeah, I think it's just about that VCs are known in the space, and they're big guys with reputation. And when some investment goes wrong, of course it's a signal for the community. Oh, but VCs are bad. Nobody should take investments for them. But there are always more good cases. For example, like you can take any protocol that is like Uniswap, for example. Okay, so which is backed by the same paradigm that did bad investments in Gobblers. So it's basically, I think it's about the popularity and the so yeah. So I think that's it.
Sorry, didn't unmute. I wanna, let's carry it on. I like this. So what about, there is a big opinion, and I'm gonna play, like I always say this to my guests. I always play devil's advocate. So let's play a little bit.
Sure.
But what about, the whole sentence of VCs are just using retail as exit liquidity in crypto?
Oh, well, actually, that's a really good question, and that's a topic that I was thinking, I think, yesterday. And
Let's go.
yeah, and actually,
I love it.
yeah, actually, eventually, I think there are two. I think there are two types of products of the protocol that can be divided into two categories, and one is speculating, and second is infrastructure. So basically, the VC is always interested in in providing returns for their limited partners, for their investors. And basically, the first side is infrastructure. Is basically when you invest in the stuff that can be a foundation for the world, for the Web3 world, and for the I don't like this word mass adoption, but let's say that is. So, and basically that's when we see really have a big impact, and they do really good things, because eventually they allocate the capital for the foundation, for the lots of stuff in the future. So that's okay. And I'm personally, like, I can be a bit biased here because I'm a fan of infrastructure, all of these protocols. But the second side is speculations, and of course there are some problems that we can witness even right now. Like for example, recently there was an announcement of the new layer 2 called Blast, and eventually it's like it was backed by Paradigm and by Standard Crypto, and I think the big guys with names, they troll the community for some reason. I don't know. That's my opinion, because when the community sees like some big VCs enters closes the round for the project, so they eventually start going crazy for some reason. For example, like, okay, let's take Blast. And basically what we know about Blast is it's optimistic rollup, and it has native yield, which is promised, which is not up yet. We have no documentation, we have no mainnet, we have no testnet. So it's basically the only thing the protocol does is it's depositing assets from Ethereum to Lido, or to the MakerDAO in case of stablecoins. And when you deposit the money, it's locked for 3 months. So it's basically you give the Blast your Ethereum's locked for 3 months, and the product is not live. So you basically just stake it in the protocol. And the last line, the last but not the least, is backed by Paradigm. So basically, the community starts to go crazy because the Paradigm they are investors. They're investors in this product, and they are the creators of the word called airdrop. So everyone likes money, everyone likes speculations, everyone likes getting some money for the activities. And if this protocol wasn't backed by Paradigm, I don't think anyone would use it. Like, why would you deposit your Ethereums into non-existent product, like locked for 3 months? I mean, isn't it crazy? But because it has a line backed by Paradigm and standard crypto, the people feel like it's okay. So that's generally. I don't think we should blame VCs for that, because community falls for it themselves. So it's basically it's about a thing that if you're blaming Paradigm for doing this, why would you deposit your Ethereums? So that's that's basically. I think the same situation was with Frontage as well. I look like I'm a hater of Paradigm, but that's not it. It's just a case. So there is, of course, that.
No. You don't. You do a little bit, but no,
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, man. That's up to you. It's okay, man. We had people who hate one story or the other story, or it's okay.
That's just
not
my
to hate them
opinion,
too.
of course. So Frontage, it's basically, so I don't know how to call it, but it's basically an OnlyFans on the blockchain with some 3.3 dynamics. So when you basically sell your friends for money, and if it wasn't back, so it's like a big Ponzi scheme. Like 99% of the crypto which is in speculation is Ponzi. So let's be honest. And also, it wouldn't be used if the Paradigm wasn't the investors of it. So and if it didn't have the word airdrop in it. So basically, community falls for it and then blame the VC, which is I don't think that's the right thing to do, actually, because
So to try to like put it into perspective, because so basically, if what you're saying is, sorry to interrupt you, of course, but carry on.
Okay.
But so basically, what, as far as I'm hearing you, what you're saying, it's lack of responsibility, right? That is the reason, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. That's a lack of a reason, and of course you can't define the world by black and white. So it's and actually, you can blame VCs, you can blame like the same Paradigm for like creating Ponzi schemes and to to just farm the money, farm the fees. I mean, Frontage, they outperformed Ethereum, which is crazy in terms of fees. But actually, you don't. Actually, those people, they don't realize how much the same VC actually have impact in the sphere. For example, Paradigm, they're a big. They're like the biggest contributors to the open source. I mean, they have created a lot of like frameworks, like Artemis, for example, for MAV. For example, they created like a Ethereum library. They created Foundry, which is widely used in the in the audits, in the security researches. So they created like there is a guy named Storm, and he created a library, Creo, for extracting the data. So basically, their impact in the open source is insane, and you can't really overrate this. But at the same time, they do some ponces. So nobody here is good or bad person. It's not about black and white. So it's about, okay, you can like something, you can dislike something, but you can't like judge based on the one case. So,
do you think it's possible? Well, or do you think there is a solution today, tomorrow, in 10 years' time? I think what you say and what you are talking about here, I think a lot of it, I'm going to try and make a thought here. It's going to be difficult because it's a bit of a mess in the head. It's with regards to distribution. I think that a lot of what you say upsets people not that they blame, not okay, we all want to blame somebody.
Yeah,
It's a natural human reaction. Okay, the cup is broken. Who broke the cup? Well, maybe it was me when I did it with my back and I didn't see, but obviously I'm gonna blame myself last.
yeah,
But I think maybe the distribution thing, maybe a lot of people get upset because what happens is quite often in smaller or medium, small to medium project, the medium project, it happens less often, especially with bad distribution. What we've seen this with Helium, for example. We've seen this with a lot of projects where VCs have missteam it, where there was a takeover, like a hostile takeover. It's not about VC actually. So let me correct myself here. The question is, I'm going to shift a little bit maybe from the VC side here, but could such issues be solved where people get upset with a particular entity, regardless of whether this entity is a VC, whether they are an angel, whether they're a contributor, whether the foundation, whether the team? Is there maybe something that can be done here in terms of distribution? Could the distribution be improved? That's what I'm asking. So these kind of things are avoided where somebody dumps.
Actually, that's a big. I think that's the main problem, in terms of course, in terms of tokenomics, and in terms of the investments in general. For example, okay, let's say, let's say the tokenomics side, for example, and let's say the protocol is raising 1 million, and let's say, okay, let's say 300K is allocated for the investors. And the catch here is how to allocate this 300K. Should it be distributed to one person, to one entity? Should it be distributed to 10 different entities, to 20, to 5? Why for 20? Why to 5? Because the main problem here is, okay, if you do have one investor, you have to be really, 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 you have to be sure that this investor won't won't kick you out, so, and all of that stuff. So because for example, the Andreessen Horowitz, they have 4% of Uniswap supply, and I mean, that's insane. And that's,
I think they have more.
yeah, eventually even more. So it's even worse. So, and the question here is, if they decide to dump, they will dump. Okay, but we all know that Andreessen Horowitz is a good fund, so they won't dump. But the whole point of the blockchain and the blockchain industry is to be trustless. But you have to trust the big guys. So that's the problem right here. So that's the problem if we allocate the big supply for the one entity. So now let's say we allocate this 300K for like 30 different guys, 10K each. So, and basically that's also a bad thing to do, because when you have 10K, which is it might be a lot for some people, but for VC it's nothing. And when you have 10K of the allocation, you can basically dump. Okay, everybody would like to dump if they see like 2x or 3x. So, and basically, how can you incentivize these guys not to dump their 10K? Because 10K is like that's not much. And you also can't predict the behavior that they will have after like the tokens go live. So that's another problem. So, and basically, I think that this is the problem that also relies on trust. So you have to eventually, there is no trustless systems in terms of like people relations, and you always have to trust that nobody dumps. So that's
But here's another solution here, no? I mean, like, there's a solution here that says, well, let's not sell to VCs.
Well, of course, there is a solution here, and actually, the statistic of the VC funding in general is, if you don't take VC's money, your chances to success are way lower. But if you take the VC's money, your chances of success is lower than to be overly successful. So you're either like super successful, or you're either not successful at all. And basically, of course, you can be self-funded. Okay, you can have like you can be bootstrapped and all of this stuff. But eventually it also lays on your shoulders. So if for example, if I have like a million, and I'm not some, and I just decided to build some protocol. I mean, I would count every cent. So, and I would like to know where every cent of my invested money go. So, and basically the VC funding is it's not always about the money. I mean, it's the main thing, but it's also about some marketing, some growing, some all of that stuff. Because you have a third party that are interested in you succeeding, so they can earn money. So yeah.
But doesn't it defeat the object then? I mean, you said yourself we're in a trustless system, right? So we should not trust anyone to help us to succeed. We should succeed ourselves, shouldn't we? I mean, we know better not to trust banks, hospitals, police,
Yeah.
and other governments and other entities. Why should we trust somebody to market ourselves?
Well, eventually, yeah, that's a trap. That's a trap that eventually at the end you have to trust somebody. Okay, so even with the blockchain, you have to trust that validators, all of the validators, don't decide to go down yesterday or tomorrow. So basically, that's you can actually remove you can't remove the trust completely, but you can lower it as much as you can. For example, like regarding the VC funding, there is a blockchain called Kenta, I believe, and it's not funded by the VCs at all. It operates at the VC-less without the VCs. So and it goes quite well, but I think it's an exception. Yeah. So I think that's about it. And I think the first and the most the most important protocol and the most important project in the crypto wasn't funded by VC, which is Bitcoin, of course. So yeah.
Well, well, arguable, but let's. I have your opinion. This is what I want. I want to understand how you see it. It's not about my opinion here, honestly. But what I want to understand also from you is, I know you have a lot of opinions on Ethereum, on gas fees. I've been kind of like doing my research, doing my homework
Yeah.
here. I'm curious, what is your opinion on the development of the L2 infrastructure? And I'm curious, what is your opinion, in particularly when it comes to bridging, particularly when, we're going to be, because bridges and moving capital between blockchains is the only trustless way we can go if we want to go trustless. But there is a lot of fucking trust issues there. So I'm curious about your opinion. I'm curious, what do you think about this whole situation?
Yeah. So first of all, I think I'll start with the bridges, and then I'll move to the L2s, if that's fine. So eventually, I'm a big hater of bridges. As a man who wrote like two articles for regarding this question. So bridges should die. So that's the thing, because you can't rely bridge infrastructure is bad. So it's basically like okay, you have some you have broken something, but you don't have some money to buy the new one. So you try to do something to fix it, but it will break again. So that's basically the thing with bridges. Because okay, for example, okay, we have Ethereum, and we have like Solana, for example, non-EVM. Okay, there is a bridge for Ethereum to Solana. Okay, then we have, for example, Optimism and Arbitrum. Okay, there has to be a bridge for Optimism and Arbitrum. So the thing is, that's not scalable. You have to create you have to create like a new solution for every every pair of blockchains. And of course, there are some cross-chain bridges, you can say, but actually the blockchains added to cross-chain bridges, they're added by the developers themselves. So eventually you have to add this overall. So basically, the thing that can remove the bridges the bridge infrastructure in general is, I think there are three protocols. One is called, Cosmos IBC. So the second one is called like Chainlink CCIP, and the third one is called Layer Zero. So these are the top three protocols that can remove the breach infrastructure, so you can make the payments and the transfers of the assets seamless without knowing, without like relying on some third party stuff. So, and eventually, yeah, that's about the bridges. So bridges should die. That's for sure. And we should have some standards. We should have some industry standards for moving the assets from blockchain to another one. So that's basically like you can compare it with the Web 2. For example, like each blockchain is a website. Like imagine if we didn't have some browser. So imagine you have to go from one website to another one using like every time you're using different bridge. That's madness. So yeah, so we eventually have to have a like
You mean different ISPs?
Yeah.
for data
yeah,
relay.
yeah, for sure.
I think we already do that.
For sure. Yeah, and so yeah, that's about it. So we have to have an industry standard, and I think it will. I think, in my opinion, it's only my opinion, it's going to be Chainlink, because Chainlink is already like a big infrastructure provider, big Oracle provider, and I think it's going to be Chainlink. So that's about the bridges. So regarding the layer 2s, every layer 2 is different, and every layer 2 is aimed to do their own stuff. For example, okay, let's take the rollups and the ZK things. So okay, let's take Arbitrum, Optimism, and Polygon, for example. So they all have different goals and different stuff. For example, Arbitrum is really good for DeFi for multiple reasons. It's like if you look at the Arbitrum TVL in DeFi, it's probably like, I don't know, $2 or $3 billion, while in the second largest layer 2 Optimism, it's about 600. So that's a big difference. So Arbitrum is just eventually better for the DeFi, for the yield stuff and all of that. And it's clearly Arbitrum is aimed for the DeFi. For example, Optimism, it's more aimed for the infrastructure and for the scalability in general. For example, there are a lot of good like infrastructure product that is built on Arbitrum. For example, Mirror XYZ, which is a medium for the blockchain. And for example, Polygon was a sidechain, because before releasing Polygon ZK AVM. So, and they clearly shifted towards corporate development. So they offer their services to the corporations. For Microsoft, I might be mistaken here. Yeah. So every layer 2 has different goal, and eventually you can obviously point out the obvious problem here is liquidity fragmentation, which is like most of the guys want to talk about. But the liquidity fragmentation fixes with the releasing of the industry standard without relying on the bridges, so you can seamlessly send the assets. So it's not because the number of blockchains will increase. That's they're always increasing. Like of course, you wouldn't expect in like 2020 that we would have something like Sui, something like Sei, some Aptos, and all of that stuff. So there are always some more blockchains added. So you can't really the liquidity will be fragmented anyway. So you can't deny that. And basically, to fix the problem, you have to create an industry standard for seamless transferring of the assets. So that's it. Yeah.
I think a lot of it is like with any young industry, which is what we're dealing with here. A lot of it is buried, in my opinion, personal opinion, in wording, in semantics, and a lot of the time, we put semantics like bridges, and then when we have IBC, Grandpa, we have a lot of stuff like fusion, like gravity. There is a lot of different. I think it really is about semantics. It's about there's a lot of things like that in crypto. It's like inactive and jailed validators, like the confusing people, like API, APR. We take a lot of semantics from, which is a good, which API and APR are a bit different, of course, example here. But still, I totally agree with you. I think that I do have an opinion that bridges are not bridges such as that will offer you services again, and we are stuck into semantics here, because what we call bridges today and the bridges that I'm foreseeing when I'm talking about IBC, Grandpa, Gravity Bridge, and so on and so forth, Fusion, whatever, those are very different fucking technologies. And I think they will slowly catch up probably with our with the liquidity that is provided elsewhere, and that will probably make a difference. But let's see. I have one more topic for you, which I know is dear, not dear to you, but I know you're interested in that topic. And the topic is like, oh, by the way, before we go into that, I'm going to say something for the listeners, and I'm sorry that I'm going to say it in such a, but I will definitely, as you know, guys, we do all the links to all the projects that we mentioned on the website. I don't remember the project now, but I will, of course, remind my team to do that. And while me and Pavel are on this topic, there is a website, maybe Pavel, if you know, tell me, that actually shows all the bridges, and it tells you at which stage they are of development. For example, if they have a multi-sig, how much is the multi-sig, and it shows you like even like nice visual stuff, so you don't need to be technical. Now, I don't remember the website now, but I will surely have it under the description of this episode. So if you're interested in it, it's a nice little tool. It shows you all the L2, and not only, it even goes outside of Ethereum. So it's a nice little tool. So anyways, the topic was adoption.
Yeah.
I know you hate and love it.
Yeah.
So before we kind of finish off, let's talk about a little bit mass usage.
Yeah.
Or adoption in 1984. So do you think there is a lot of conversation lately in our industry that whatever is adoption, or I don't like that word, usage, adoption, whatever. Let's stick with some stigmatic semantics here again. There we go. We're here already.
Sure.
And the whole 1984 story. I'm sure you know what I mean. So the privacy nightmare, so to speak. So I mean, we all understand that blockchains are the perfect, not open, not verifiable, but closed blockchains are just perfect. They really are made to, seriously look at everything you do, every move, every breath you take. Kind of reminds me of some music there. So what's your opinion about all this? So privacy, adoption, usage, is it bullshit? Is it really going to happen? Are we in danger? Should we do something? What's your opinion?
Well, so actually I'm optimistic and realistic at the same time. Basically an adoption is something we're really far away right now, if we're talking about the mass adoption in general, because regular users, they shouldn't care what blockchain is. They shouldn't care what gas fees are. They shouldn't care like about the yield, about the staking. Like, of course, like they shouldn't care about it to be widely used. So the goal here is to implement a payment system, a transference system, so user doesn't have to know what blockchain is. So they just like nothing changes for them. You just say okay, here's a new tool and we're all gonna use it. That's better. That's better because like seamless payments, you can transfer the money from Australia to Japan basically for like a fraction of a second. So basically, I'm optimistic, but currently the protocols and the founders that use this expression mass adoption, they clearly don't understand what they're talking about. So, and when I say this, I mean, for example, they say we are going to onboard 1 billion users to DeFi. The problem here is 1 billion users don't fucking care what DeFi is, and they don't want to care. They just want some API, some API, and to be as simple as possible. So the problem is that and basically, the problem is showing off that it's crypto. So for example, you want to capture like a market of 1 billion users, which is insane, and you have to and you're providing the new definition for them, and of course it's going to be hard and it's going to be really difficult because they wouldn't like to get into the stuff because it's too technical. It's too difficult for regular users who just wants to transfer some money, for example. So the key stuff, the key thing that we can do there is basically removing all of the words like blockchain, like crypto, like NFT, DeFi, and all of that geek stuff we care about. But so, and eventually one of the good examples of it is Reddit, because Reddit had NFT avatars, and they've been really successful with these NFT avatars. And the secret here is that users that that bought that NFT avatars, they didn't know that it was NFT, and they didn't know they would own the wallet. So it's hidden, and it should be hidden for not to not to fear.
There is a good
Yeah.
word, uncommon combination of words in English, but it does exist, and it's mass usage. And I think mass adoption is very far away, but mass usage has been here for a while. Mass knowledge,
Yeah.
of what that, it's been here for a few years, but mass adoption, which means at least, what we're talking, depends of course on what statistics we use, but I would say if it's mass, then it's more than 50%, right? We're still far away from it. So
Yeah.
anyways, quick tiny blitz, 5 questions.
Sure.
Feel free to answer longer, feel free to answer short. Some of them are simple, some more complicated.
Is it like
Let's start with
is
these
it like a
one.
quiz, right?
No. It's about you. It's about your preferences.
Okay, sure.
But you will understand.
Okay.
So, give me one book or movie that has had an impression on you in the past year.
I think the one that pops up immediately in my head is called Requiem for a Dream. So that's a movie about
Respect, brother. Preach.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah, so that's basically some of them. They look at this movie like it's about drugs, but it's not about drugs. It's about dependencies, influence, and all of that stuff.
So choices.
Choices, for example, yeah, and basically through the seasons, because there are like summer, winter, autumn. Through the seasons, you can clearly see how choices change, how people betray themselves. So it's basically a movie about making your own choices and do what you really want to do, not to not just be like good person in general, just to be
choose life.
Choose life. Yeah, basically choose life.
Okay, give me now 2 very similar questions. One is going to follow the other. Give me first of all one technology, and when I say technology, one direction that you're interested in that lately arouses curiosity in your development. Doesn't have to be blockchain.
Mm-hmm. So, it doesn't have to be blockchain, but it will be it, I think. Because I think the one narrative that I'm really interested right now is social-fi, which I wouldn't really pay attention like 6 months ago. But now I've seen what Warpcast, what these guys are doing, like Farcaster, which is basically a Twitter but made like for the blockchain users. And there is like a lot of other social file protocols, right? Like Lens, for example. So basically, I think that's a really new topic, and that's something really new and really interesting for me right now to research. So I'm getting deep in this field right now. So yeah.
Ironically, I started my crypto career in 2015-16 from social file, from a project called Golos. But give me one project. Wait, one project that arouses your curiosity
Well, I think it's
in crypto.
about SocialFi or in general.
No. Go outside of SocialFi. SocialFi, you already said a couple, but go outside of SocialFi, something that you like.
Okay, so basically, as I said before, I'm an infrastructure fan,
I remember.
The one that pops up in my head right now is the protocol called Blockless. So that's a protocol which allows you to build an application, and this application will be available on all of the chains, and it won't be limited from different limitations on these chains. So it will work as it should be. And you can also, I'm also a big fan of modularity, for example, for Celestia. And so you can actually do some crazy settings. Right here is you can change the consensus model depending on the blockchain. Like imagine you have a I don't know, you have some liquid protocol, and like on Solana it works with the proof of stake, for example, and on Ethereum it works with zk proofs, which is I don't know, for like it would just useful for the different cases. And I think I'm not a fan of monolithic structure, but like modular is more interesting for me. So basically it's just
Well, I'm gonna
modularity in
take
general.
Sorry, it's just because I started to speak because there was a little pause there. I wasn't going to interrupt you, but modularity in general is something I definitely like. While I'm having a moment here, if you're looking to delegate your tokens on Celestia, you can find Citizen Web 3. So
Sure.
it's a moment of self-advertisement.
Sure.
Let's keep on that.
Okay.
I don't like self-advertisement. Two last questions. Yeah. So they're going to be a bit more difficult. One person that it could be alive, could be dead, could be a character from a cartoon, from a Disney, I don't care, from a Soviet cartoon, that had inspiration on you when you were younger in life.
Oh.
It could be a real person as well.
Oh, okay. So when I was, because currently I don't think I have those people, because I'm currently just
inspiration, not guru.
Yeah,
inspiration,
okay.
Just inspiration.
Just inspiration. Well, I think it's a very famous guy, which is whose name is Pavel as well. So the creator of Telegram, so Pavel Durov. So that's I think that was the inspiration, because he's basically like, I thought we were similar in some things, because like he speaks like lots of languages. I speak like Russian, English, German, Hungarian. So I speak a lot of languages too. So like he builds the stuff. So basically, I think it was him, because you have the inspiration from the people that are outliers. So he has some different views on the world, on the technology, on life in general, apart from all of the other ones. And of course, you're interested in outlier that is unlike the others. So I think it was him. Yeah.
Last one. One motivational thing that keeps Pavel waking up every day. This research in infra, reading other things online, and keeping on living. What is the one motivational thing that helps you?
Actually, I don't believe in motivation, and the motivation is what is okay. You have motivation, but eventually it is slowly fading away with the time. So basically, firstly, it's about discipline. If you really want to learn something, want to achieve something, it's about discipline. But then the discipline becomes a part of your life, so you can't. Basically, you can't live without it. So that was with the crypto. I started because I really wanted to learn, but sometimes you don't really feel like it. So you don't really feel like you should learn, you should do some new stuff. But eventually, it's about discipline. It's doing about what you don't want to do, but you have to. And it was basically, I think this was my mindset when I went to the gym. I didn't really like the first 2 or 3 months, but I was forcing myself. But then, like now, it became such an important and fundamental part of my life that I can't really. So it's like a drug, but in a good way. So you can't live without it. So that's about everything in life. So I basically, first of all, it's about motivation. It's about wish to do something, wish to do something. Then it's about discipline, and then discipline becomes a part of your life. So that's it.
Totally agree with this, and not all drugs are bad.
Yeah.
On that note, not all drugs are bad, I think is the best sentence to finish a podcast episode.
Sure.
Pavel, thank you very much for your opinions. Please don't hang up right now yet. I'm just going to hang up and just let you go in a second. But for everybody who joined us today, thank you very much, and see you next time, guys. Thank you. Bye. This content was created by the Citizen Cosmos Validator. If you enjoyed it, please support us by delegating to Citizen Cosmos and help us to create more educational content.